Hi, I'm Jazz and I'm an alcoholic and I'm codependent. I work a 12-step program and I seek health. I am a seeker and a traveler in my journey. Step two. Step two is the same in AA as it is in Coda. Step two goes like this. Came to believe in a power greater than myself that could restore me to sanity. So when step two came, because I did a step one, it feels a bit unfair because I already did kind of have an understanding of a higher power or something greater than me. And I learned that at a young age. So I didn't have to go through that giant hurdle that a lot of people get stuck on with the higher power and the God thing. And so I kind of, the first three steps, the first one I made really good, and I took time to make that one. But with the higher power stuff and, those, I've been pretty open to that. So the thing is that am I the greatest thing in the world? Am I the world? Am I all things? Am I God? Am I a higher power? Am I my own higher power? Like, am I the best and greatest thing in the whole world and better than everyone and everything? Probably not. Like, there's probably other people that know more than me. There's probably organizations that are doing more than me. There's probably bigger businesses. There's probably, there's lots of things in this world that are bigger than me, that are greater than me. And that's a good thing. And I strive towards those things. But, I believe there is a power greater than myself. When I got into the rooms, I found out that there's many different ways that I can have a higher power. It doesn't have to be a man figure. It doesn't have to be a religious thing. It just has to be not me. Like, I think I can be open to the fact that I am not the queen of the world, the king of the world, that there are other things, that there are other people that know more than me. And so I think I could come to terms that there is a power greater than myself, and that I could be restored to sanity through that power greater than myself. So I am a person that is being restored to sanity, and I have many different higher powers in my life. And the first higher power I went to was a doctor. I was really sick and alone. And that was the first person that I just told my little secret problem to, someone that didn't know my life, didn't know my family, and it had to be the right doctor. It had to be someone that I kind of was okay with. I didn't totally know her, but I had a good feeling with her. So that was like an act of reaching out, that helped start my journey towards getting better, towards getting out of addiction. And, so came to believe for me was that my higher power is everywhere. And my higher power is in messages. It's in literature. It's, I don't try to go do the plumbing in my house when there's a leak. Like, there's a plumber I can call for that. I am trying to just do the power that I have, and then use other higher powers in my life to get those other things that I need. And I'm not trying to be the higher power in everything. And I'm not trying to be the higher power in my own thinking either. Like, that's why I get on the phone a lot with my sponsor, because my higher power works through my sponsor, works through my connections, works through the rooms, the meetings, the AA programs, the Coda programs. There's higher powers everywhere. And it's my choice to listen to that higher power, those other sources. And then step 2 is like me reaching out. And by me doing that, I'm going to restore my sanity. So I believe that maybe there's a message out there that I'm supposed to hear and learn and know. And when I reach for it, I get the message and I'm going to get restored. I'm going to get more sane. I'm going to get more leveled, because my own thinking alone is not helping me. That's not my higher power. That I have to check on. That I have to watch. And it takes caring for. And it takes other people and what they know and their connections. So I find that step 2 and living a step 2 and having a step 2 in my life is crucial. It's critical. It's important. This is not a me all by myself job. This is not the me show. Like this, I cannot be in my ego. I cannot let my ego continue to run my life into the ground and win and keep me from all the things that I want in my life and all the things that my higher power wants to have for me in my life, or that my higher power is trying to give me in my life, but I just keep blocking it because I keep thinking that I know better and the best way. And my ego wants me to lose, but it's tricking me to think that I'm winning. So I have to check in with my higher powers all the time to make sure that ego is in control, or is not getting me out of control. Like my ego is always there trying to rear its head. And so having higher powers in my life, becoming not my own higher power and reaching out it's like this program doesn't work unless I do the first step, the second step, and continue on learning and doing the other steps. So step 2, I find it's such an act of humility and vulnerability, being like, I don't know. Like I'm giving up in a way of being like, I might not have the best answer here. I don't know. I need some help. And it's so scary to ask for help because I'm exposing that I need something. I'm exposing that I don't have it all together. But it's like I have to start learning how to be vulnerable. I have to start learning how to reach out. No one's going to bite my hand off. Maybe I have some old wounds from the past where I asked for help from the wrong people. I asked for help and then nobody came. Somewhere I'm scared and I have disappointment and that's getting in the way of getting myself better. So, learning to reach out is scary, but it's so important to stay connected and to not be isolated in my own thoughts and my own head. So, when I'm in this humility spot where, I got to admit that I don't have it all figured out, and I don't have the answer, and I need the answer. I need the answer to get better. I need the answer to move on. I need to do a step 2 to get to a step 3. So came to believe that there is a power greater than myself that can restore me to sanity. So how do I come to believe? How do I believe this? I could sit where I'm sitting, say I'm in a treatment center. Like I'm in a treatment center now. How did I get here? You'll say I'm in a room. Okay, I'm in one of these rooms. Like, why am I here? Why did I get here? Do I want to get better? Do I need this? Do I need help? Maybe I'm the one that doesn't want to help me. How do I help me? I'm going to start asking myself questions, and do everything that I can to listen and get connected. And, listen to people that know more than me and ask questions and dig deep and ask people to tell me the truth about things to help me move to the next thing. So I think that having to live step 2 in my life would be, I'm going along and say something's not working out. So I come to believe that I don't got this. For instance, I'm going through the week and maybe I've gone, 3 days without a break for me, and now I'm getting bogged down. What I could, and I'm in that like frustration, like I'm in a step 1 kind of like figuring out like I got a problem here and this is unmanageable. And then my step 2 starts showing up and I start coming to believe that, hey, you know what? I think I need to call in daycare for a day so I can go take a break. Like I think I'm coming to believe that maybe I'm not going to make it all the way to Friday, that maybe I need to put the brakes on. And so I'm living my step 2 and I'm coming to believe that I need a break. And now I need to ask for help and I need to set this up. So now I'm in my step 2 and I'm like, I do need a break. I'm not going to make it. I'm not invincible. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to do the whole week alone by myself. I don't need to go and have no breaks. I'm not proving anything. I need to stop. I need to slow down. I'm coming to believe that something isn't working out here, that something has to change, that I don't feel right, that I need a break. Like coming to believe is like really starting to like listen to that I need something else here. And when I, having breaks in my life and doing step 2s in my life, I have more peace. I am stronger. I am better off, but it doesn't come without that realization that I might need some help. I might need something, a power greater than myself in this moment to move to the next thing. So I can't just keep controlling and being and toughing it out and pushing through and not ever, making something happen that's not going to happen. Like I have to have some moments where I surrender and I ask for help. I have to not just drive it all into the ground and then be all upset on the other side, but nobody came, but I didn't ask. I have to start getting to those places of noticing and admitting a little bit quicker and being like, okay, like I'm going to need some help. And then figuring out what that help looks like, calling someone, setting up daycare. Maybe I need an extra workout. Maybe I need a nap. Maybe I need a coffee. I'm not making it. Like, how can I make it? And give myself, start creating that thing that I need. And that comes with just really coming to believe that I'm going to need more here in this moment. And maybe it's just emotional support in the moment. Maybe it's just a friend to call. Maybe it's I need my kid in an extra thing, or they need to go out for a play. Like coming to believe is like getting really real in my situation and really, really looking at it honestly and seeing it for what it is. And then reaching out or doing something about it. Like, what's my next step? Like this, maybe I need to pray and, pray to my higher power that, send me the thing that I need. Show me the thing that I need. I'm in a place where I can't figure this out. So show me the steps that I need to take to help for me to figure this out. Like, this is how a step 2 shows up in my life. And, when I'm more in check and on and rested and taken care of, I'm having a way better life. I'm not having the best life ignoring feelings and situations and calling it something different than what it is. Like, that's not giving me that's not getting me anywhere, but just letting me stay in the same frustrated spot. And if I'm going to keep doing the same thing, I'm going to keep getting the same thing. So nothing changes unless I start changing it, unless I start waking up and I start looking at it and I start moving something. Maybe I don't know what to move, but I just start moving things, I start seeing what will fit and what will work and what will change. And that effort and putting in that time and awareness. So, I'm asking my higher power. I'm creating a higher power. Maybe it's a better version of myself. Like, if I was a really strong and healthy person right now and loved myself, what would I do? Would I do this? And then try that out. That's a version of a higher power. Maybe I do have a God for a higher power. Maybe it's it doesn't matter. But the point is I think like the main thing is like, as long as I'm not believing I'm the only higher power, and start putting other higher powers in my life, and maybe I need to like talk on the phone a lot more to figure out what that higher power is for me, and meditate on it and pray for it. And it'll come. Like, when I ask to see things, or I ask my higher power to show me things, it shows me. Things start popping up, and I start forming a realization around stuff when I really start looking and being honest and being open to that honesty. Like maybe that's what I need help with. It's like, help me see the thing I don't want to see. Help me be honest. Help me look, as I don't want to look. Maybe I need courage to look. Maybe I need extra comfort, security. There's always something that I need. There's always something greater than me. And when I have something greater than me that's going to help me, and I let that help come in, I'm going to restore myself to some kind of sanity. That higher power is going to restore me to sanity. And I meant to live a good life on this earth. I meant to have it, and I meant to work towards it. It's not just going to come. I've got to move towards it. I've got to take the steps that I can to make that happen for me, because it's not going to happen on its own. I'm in charge of trying to, moving my feet. I move my feet. I make sure that my head and my heart are on track. And I have found that, I did just think that there was only one higher power in the world. And then when I was in the rooms and when I was in treatment, I discovered that like higher power can be anything. It can be anything that I want it to be. It can be anything. And I thought that was such a great gift, because I was like, oh wow, like it can, it can be it can be nature, it can be the ocean, it can be, my best version of myself. It can be, someone that's passed away, or, someone that passed away that was dear to my heart. Like, what would they say in this situation? Sometimes, even my sponsor's voice is in my head, and I'm going, well, what would da-da-da say? What would she say about this? And what would, and like sometimes that just gets me out of a quick moment when I'm in my head or in a situation. I go, well, she would do this because that's the recovery way. And that's, so I want to do that. I want to do what the recovery way is. And if she was here right now, then she would say that. Like sometimes that's just my higher power. It's just like getting a bit out of myself, getting into thinking like maybe there's another way. Maybe there's another thing here. It's possible. Like I had to like break up my rigid thinking, and I can't be the only thing that I listen to. I can't be. There has to be room for openness, and I have to move towards that. And maybe there's another option. Maybe there's another way. Maybe there's something greater than me. And then practice that all the time. It doesn't mean I do a step 2 one time. I do step 2s all the time, like all the time. So it helps me lift me up and move me towards the life that I'm supposed to have. And step 2, I don't really know where I would be. But, I did the reverse. I did the opposite of step 2 before I got to recovery. I just drove my life anywhere I wanted to go with my ego, thinking I knew everything, didn't listen to anyone, didn't care. And I lived a very destructive life that way. I didn't get the life that I wanted. I got the life that I wanted through 12-step programs, and with a step 2 and just getting really good at reaching out and, getting on the phone. And it's scary, right? Like what if I'm annoying them, or what if they don't like what I say, or, I'm exposing my vulnerabilities. Like, I think that's like part of the exercise of it is like, it's like getting stuff out, like starting to get stuff out, starting to expose myself. And maybe I'm scared because I'm shameful of what people are going to think, but the other people on the phone don't think anything bad. Like, they want to help. They want to hear. Like, sometimes I call my sponsor or friends and I'm like, oh, I don't want to bug them. And what if it's dinner time? And what if it's too late? And, I've never had anyone ever in all my recovery years ever be like, I can't believe you called me at 9:00 at night or midnight or 5 a.m. or you're calling too much. Like, I've called a lot over the years, sometimes 3 times a day. And no one has ever in recovery told me that was too much, or that that's not okay, or, I need to tone it down on my higher power stuff. Like, there's always love on the other end of it. There's always that hand that I'm reaching towards it. I'm reaching out, and that hand has always been there for me. It's always been there. And it's when I'm thinking that someone doesn't want to help and that I'm not good enough and I'm too scared that I don't reach out and I don't make that call. I make the call. And I make the call, even sometimes I got to get all anxiety filled, and I'll even say to my sponsor, like, I know I call you too much, or like, oh, I know I'm calling again. Like, she doesn't care. Sometimes I just say that for my own anxiety to get out, but that's just like such a small thing. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what do I need help with? What she just wants to give me the message. She wants to give me the tool, and I just got to call to get that tool. Or maybe I got to pray, or maybe I got to meditate. Like, sometimes a long walk with meditation is where I'm going to find the tool that I need, and it's going to restore me. Like getting out of my head, going for that walk. Like, who knows if I'm going to see some kind of sign on the side of the road or a message, and then, it's going to resonate. Because that's how my higher power works. Like, that's how the higher power thing is it shows up. It starts showing up in ways. And I look out and I have done meditative walks, and certain people might have said something, or a message on the side of a bus, and it's just like that thing that I needed. So, I open my eyes and I open my heart, and then I reach out, and then I get help, and that healing comes in, and that healing restores me, and I keep moving with it, and then I'm loving myself more, and I was not okay before recovery, and I'm so much more okay now. So that's step 2. To some people, it might be freaky, but I think it's a beautiful thing to have it's a beautiful thing to have in my life. I love that it's everywhere. It's whatever I want. It's to my understanding. It's going to restore me. It's going to heal me. It's going to fix everything. And so I believe that, and I think there are greater things out there than me. And I look up to that, I look up to things, and I think that's just the point. It's just like, maybe I should check my thought on this. maybe I should check this this thing I'm trying to change, or this thing I'm trying to do. Maybe I should just check it out. Like, it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion. It doesn't hurt to get that feedback and to see that thing that I'm not seeing. Because when I'm in like a denial or something, like the denial doesn't come off unless I personally break that denial off. And I don't want to be caught with that. It's a scary place to be. Is, I'm always checking on what's going on with my truth and what am I not seeing here. And sometimes I even need help with just trying to figure out what my feelings are doing. So, lots of inner work. So I try to stay open. I look up or reach out, and that's how, like, step 2, like, I live this step in my life, and it's very necessary for me to recover. So thanks for letting me share.